Hi all, welcome back to the final whistle then for another championship predictions. This is week 14. We do apologise, this isn't live tonight due to outages on YouTube regarding streaming and that. So yeah, this is a pre-recorded one, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you can get your predictions in the comments of the games, then we'd really appreciate it. Hit a like on the video for us, subscribe to the channel, and would be appreciated. Boys, how are we? Steve?
He's muted himself.
Muted me, Jack. Jack, you muted me, you bastard. I was getting the blame for that. I'm not going, no, I'm not muted. Yeah. As I said on the live, just depressed, but that's football for you. So.
Well, there we go. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Someone will be more happier with the championship this week. Rich, how are we, mate?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to tape 2.
Yeah, it is take 2. Yeah, we tried it live, didn't we, boys? And YouTube outages cost us the live stream. So we are going to get through this one. But, Rich, let everybody know what you're doing at the Suffolk Crunch, mate. Is anything coming out?
Well, I've done the Sunday sit-down yesterday, looking back on the 4-1 win at QPR, and there will be a Watford preview out in the morning. I'm off for 4 days from work, so I'll be live at 10 a.m. in the morning if anyone's about.
Lovely stuff. So if any Ipswich fans in, check Rich's the Suffolk
back.
Crunch out.
Oh, hang on.
You froze. You just went, any like that.
That's all right. We go again. Take 3, not joking. Boys, what are these scores on the doors then for this week?
Yeah, well, it's the same as last week because we all did poorly this week. Nobody got any correct. But then, as me and Rich were saying earlier on, it's very hard to predict the championship. And when you get teams like Wrexham coming up and smashing Coventry, Derby beating Sheffield United and Ipswich winning away, we were never going to get points. So, yeah, same. 11 points for Jack, 14 for me, 16 for Rich.
Lovely stuff. Midweek games now, and a few weeks before there were a lot of draws. Hopefully that's not the case this time. Hopefully we can get some points on the board with how the wins go. So, boys, Friday night football was Wrexham 3, Coventry 2. Kiefer Moore scored a hat-trick for Wrexham. Coventry's first defeat of the season. Rich?
Yeah, like I said before, it'd be interesting how they react now because obviously they've been beating everyone, scoring loads of goals, and I think they got Sheffield United, didn't they, on in the week? So that'll be an interesting game with the Blades obviously losing 2 games on the trot. Obviously, Chris Wilder will be looking for reaction there. Yeah, look, I thought Wrexham played really well, Jack. I think they're just started to get going now. They've won 2 and drawn 1. So we did say on the last Thursday when we done the show, if they finish mid-table, I think that's a good season for them. But now, look, as the league's so tight, if they could get another couple of wins in these next 2 games, takes you into the international break, they're going to be pushing for the playoffs. So I think it's wide open, this league, other than like Coventry at the minute. But even with ourselves, we won that game on the weekend. We're 6 points off second, and we haven't even got going. So even you, look, you're disappointed at the minute, but it's not all doom and gloom. If you could win a couple of games, you could soon jump back up the table. I know you're probably going to think, when are we going to win 2 games? But you just never know in this league.
Well, you have more belief in us than ourselves, to be fair, Rich, mate. As Leicester fans at the minute, we don't know where the next win's going to come from or if the team's actually going to turn up. So
definitely on Saturday, you're winning.
Steve, the lunchtime kickoff was Leicester 0, Blackburn 2. Non-existent from the Foxes once again. And, chance of you're not fit to wear the shirt. They got booed. Ricardo dragged the players over at full time. To take the brunt of it with we'd call it a shower of shit performance from Leicester, and things just don't look to be getting any better.
No, it got so bad that I actively went and sought out Jack at halftime to moan at him in person. That's how bad we were. It was awful. There was a balloon floating across the pitch after 5 minutes that had more movement than most of our players combined. There was more of a pot when the keeper smashed it. So, yeah, it was poor. It was poor, and I'm not looking forward to tomorrow night. I'm still going to go. I was umming and ahhing and thinking, maybe I should give it a miss, but I'm going to go. And look, the biggest thing I take away from the game, Jack, is that there's some old lads next to me that said to me, "I've never booed in my life." And at one point, he turned to me and said, "Do you know what? I'm not going to leave after the second goal. I'm going to wait until 90th minute because I'm actually going to do it for the first time. I'm going to boo." And the guy next to him went, "Shall we sing 'You're Not Fit to Wear the Shirt'?" And I was thinking, gee, they've lost the happy clappers. This is all gone wrong. So, yeah, that was my highlight, the balloon and the old people.
Well, yeah. Blackburn did the job, got the 3 points, back-to-back wins for them. Hull 2, Norwich 0, another defeat at home, Rich, for the Canaries. Liam Manning still in a job, by the way. How bad is it getting? Because the fans, is it Napper, is it? The
Ben Napper, yes, sporting director. Yeah.
The Norwich fans, they was at the entrance and they protested about the director of football and things at Norwich. They're very fragile at the minute, and the fans are making their feelings known on and off the pitch.
Well, they had a tennis ball protest. Did you see that, boys?
Mm-hmm.
5 tennis balls thrown on the pitch. Pathetic. Must be a shortage of tennis balls in Norfolk, obviously.
Oh.
That's all they could afford. It was a whip round.
But listen, look, when Liam Manning, he didn't acknowledge the fans at full time. He's gone straight down the tunnel, which obviously a lot of their fans are not happy. You've got to face the music, If things are going wrong, you are the manager. You need to stand up and you need to take the criticism. And he has apologised afterwards. I see that, and that's fair enough. But I just think he's got to be living on borrowed time now, Jack. I mean, they got Sheffield Wednesday, I think, away, and a lot of their fans are thinking they're going to lose that game, and then they obviously play your boys on Saturday. They've got 7 defeats at home out of 7. 007, they're calling Manning now. And look, it's a mess at Norwich. They've spent quite a lot of money on the quiet in the summer. So recruitment hasn't been good. But I think if you're a player, Jack, and you keep losing, you've probably just lost faith in your manager. And I think they need to make that change now, don't they? Because he's not going to turn it around. He's not going to turn it around. You want him to stay. Yeah, I get that if you're a fan and you're playing them. But I just think for the goodness of Liam Manning as well, because, I mean, I don't see as a manager how you can come out and you can be positive in your interviews because you're just losing games of football. And I know managers now are not going to put in their resignation, are they? Because he signed the contract. He's probably being paid quite well, and he's going to want the payout. So there's been talk of Russell Martin going back there, Jack, and he's been linked with Southampton as well. We're probably going to come on to Will still. Like we said before we started, this is sacking season now. You get into that third international break, and I think we spoke about it on here before. That's sort of a good sort of number of games. I think you get to that's 15 games on Saturday, and that's a good number of games to sort of know where you're heading in the season. And Southampton weren't heading anywhere. Norwich are not heading anywhere. And you boys, if you lose another couple of games, you might be pulling the plug as well on your manager. So that's football. And we all know what happens if managers don't win games. They get the sack.
There we go. That's a points basis game now, isn't it?
Exactly.
Football, if you're not getting the results, it's see you later. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Talking about don't let the door hit you on the way out, West Brom. very poor at the minute. Drew 0-0 with Sheffield Wednesday, Steve. Their fans and players were a bit of bickering on the sidelines. They had a bit of back and forth. It doesn't look good again, does it? Because West Brom, they're not on a good run of form either. But then you look at Birmingham City, 4-0 winners against Portsmouth. A solid performance by the Blues at St Andrews. What's your thoughts on how both sides went about their business at the weekend, West Brom and Birmingham?
So West Brom, I think they were a bit unlucky, to be fair, because Sheffield Wednesday turned up and just sort of parked the bus a little bit. They had 5 in midfield. It's very hard to break down. And, you know, when West Brom on the attack, they sort of go into a more compact block of like 6 or 7 players. So, you know, they're away from home, and Sheffield Wednesday will be happy with a point because it's 1 point closer to 0, isn't it? But look, you know, West Brom, they've got a decent side. They should be in and around the top 6 come the end of the season. But you know, the Championship is so unpredictable, and we all knew that Sheffield Wednesday would get a bit of a bounce after Chansiri left. So, you know, maybe this is the start of it for them. Birmingham winning 4-0. I'll be honest, I think we all had them down as draw. I know Richie had them as a win, and we had them both as drawing as 1-1. So all got completely incorrect there. But it looked like they battered Portsmouth at the St Andrews.
The much needed win of Chris Davies, so Steve.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and a pretty decent performance to back it up. But even Jay Sanfield missed a penalty in this game, so it could have been even more. But look, they'll be happy. You know, that it's 3 points closer to potentially being in the top 6, which I can't see happening. But you know, they're happy at least. Fair
enough. Rich, Charlton 1, Swansea 1. Another point for Nathan Jones. Oxford 2. Millwall 2. Late scenes at the Kazam. Oxford grabbing a late equaliser.
Have you seen that Millwall? Have you seen that Millwall fan doing his live stream?
He was livid.
Have you seen it, Steve? You
seen
it?
Was livid.
Wow! How many F-bombs was he dropping? The headphones are gone. He was punching on the desk. I'm thinking, hang on, guys. I know you're disappointed. You're sitting 4th in the table. I mean, that's what football does to you, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it does. It's that passion, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it's disappointing for them when you're winning that late in a game in the 96th minute. I mean, did we see Cameron Brannigan's goal, Jack? What a goal that was. You know, he's a good player at this level. I always liked him when we were in League One with them, but they keep grinding out the results, Oxford. That's 3 2-2 draws, isn't they? Drew you 2-2, Coventry 2 all at home, and now Millwall. They just need to turn them into wins, especially at home, because I think they're going to be down there, but not a bad point when you're behind that late. Charlton, look, probably disappointed they didn't win, Jack. They were winning the game, and then I think Adam Eder scored for Swansea. But it's another point on the board. It's another game that they haven't lost, you know, and got to keep picking the points up. And I think Charlton, if anyone said that they'd be sitting 8th, if you're a Charlton fan this stage of the season, I think you'd probably be pretty happy with that, you know, with a team that have just come out of League One. And they're probably
they've got the second best defensive record in the Championship, haven't they, so far? So they'd definitely take that.
Yeah, I mean, I still think the league's really open, and a team like Charlton, you've got to be thinking you could have a good chance this season of making the playoffs, because no one has really set the world alight apart from Coventry. Borough have now slipped up. They slipped up at Watford, didn't they? And then it's so close. If you can win tomorrow and at the weekend and get a couple of wins, you can go into that international break on a real high. If you lose a couple, you're going to go into it on a bit of a negative, aren't you? So it's the Championship. They say it's one of the best leagues around, and it is. But I think the quality this season, I don't know what you two think. I think the quality is pretty poor, if I'm honest, of what I've seen so far. And I think that's probably an indication why it's really close. It's a tight division because everyone keeps beating everyone, and I don't think the quality's there at the minute.
Fair enough. Steve, QPR 1, Ipswich 4. Mr. Bread and Butter actually buttered his bread this time, by the way. He did get 2 goals, George Hurst. Nunez scored 2 free kicks. Ipswich have now started to pick up a little bit. You know, they're picking up a little bit of form. They are starting to climb the table a lot more. They've obviously surpassed Leicester now in the league. Rich would say finally. But what did you make of Ipswich's win at Loftus Road.
Well, that's your first away win in a while, isn't it, Rich?
Yeah, we had one away to see. That last away win was in the Premier League away at Bournemouth.
Bloody hell, yeah. It's not ideal, is it? Let's be honest.
No.
But yeah, like 2 wins on the bounce for you guys now. We've obviously you lost to Charlton, but beating West Brom and being it. And was it a bit more? Did you go to the game?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, was it a bit more convincing this week? Because I didn't watch the game. I don't know anything about it. So
I wouldn't. I think if you look at the scoreline, you see 4-1. You probably think, oh, that's a good win. I think it flatters us a little bit, guys. We just scored goals at ideal times, Jack. We scored after 1 minute and 20 seconds. Then obviously they equalise this 1-1 at half time, and then we literally score within a minute of the second half. And then it's a little bit of a story of us this season that we've played well in spells, but we haven't scored goals at them critical moments. Whereas Saturday, we did. And then when you get a third goal and then a fourth shortly after that, the last 25 minutes, it's easy. And you just coast through it. But it's a 4-1 win. But I didn't think we played amazingly. But I think sometimes in this league, it's just about getting the job done and getting the wins on the board. And like Steve said, we've won 2 games now. We've got Watford at home tomorrow night. If we can back that up with a third win, we're probably going to be within the top 6. And then we go to Swansea on Saturday. But it's all about it's just about being consistent, isn't it, in this league? If you can be consistent in like your blocks of like 5 or 6 games, if you can win 4 of them, you're going to have a good season. It's just, we can't go and shit the bed tomorrow night now against Watford at home. We need to back that up with a win. You've gone to QPR, you've got that first away win, but it's the home games. If you win your home games and then you can pick up some wins away from home, you're going to have a decent season. I think we're just starting to get going now without really being that convincing. I want a 90-minute performance where you think, yeah, I think something's starting to sort of click here. But it's still early days, but we haven't started playing that well this season, Jack. In the first 13 games, we were only 6 points off second. So I think we're still in quite a good position.
Talking about a team that's picked up, Derby County. Colton Morris scored an hat-trick at Bramall Lane at the weekend. 3-1 defeat for Sheffield United as their struggles seem to be going on in the league. They've got 9 points from their opening 13 games, Rich. Their woes keep going on. Derby County, well, they're not going to be bothered, are they? To be fair, they picked up some real good form now, haven't they? I believe they've won their last 3 games in the league. And things are starting to go together now for Derby County. Sheffield United, though, Callum O'Hare did score, but it's not enough, Rich.
Yeah, look, I mean, Derby, we said on here a few weeks back, they needed to get some wins on the board because they were drawing quite a lot of games. And now, look, it shows what you can do if you win 3 games. They're up to, 17th now, and they're, 8 points clear of Sheffield United, who are third bottom. So that's given them a little bit of a buffer, and they're going to be looking upward now instead of downward. But I don't think any of us predicted that, did they? A 3-1 win for Derby at Bramall Lane. I said a couple of weeks ago, I thought Sheffield United could still make the top 6, and then they've just lost to Preston, and then they've lost at home to Derby. Sidney Peck, Jack, did you see it? Lovely through ball, wasn't it? Unfortunately, it was straight to Colton Morris.
Yeah,
he popped that away, and look, he's a good player in this league. Big game for Sheffield United. I think it's tomorrow, is it? They go to Coventry. They need to show a reaction there. If they lose that game, they're not climbing, are they? I thought Wilder would come in and he'd have a bit of a bounce, but he hasn't really. He hasn't really changed it around yet. Players'
mentality as well, I think, at Sheffield United with how things have got there. That they've got the quality. Tanganga's a good centre half. Callum O'Hare, they've got Gus Harmer. They're just not doing enough. The team's not doing enough on the pitch. The fans are frustrated. The fans are annoyed and pissed off, as they should be. The expectation from Sheffield United this season would have been top 6. Do they look like getting there at the minute? Absolutely not. So I'm not surprised. Again, Derby, Colton Morris, he's starting to score again. He's adding these goals to the total again. And He's building that real confidence. Southampton 0, Preston 2. The sacking of Will Steele yesterday, Steve. About time in it, but Sport Republic at Sheffield United, Southampton. Bad decisions on and off the pitch at the minute at Southampton, a club that seems to be very, very much in disarray as they seem to potentially bring in Russell Martin back, and things just don't seem to be getting any better for the Saints at St Mary's.
No, I was talking to a friend about this earlier on, that there seems to be several clubs in England now that have ownerships that the fans aren't happy with. You've got Leicester, Southampton, Sheffield United to an extent. Wolves, their fans weren't happy at the weekend, and Pereira got sacked as well. And it just seems, and Norwich, they're not happy with the director of football sort of things, the way certain clubs are going. And it's not a surprise, really, is it? Because I think football fans, they just want to see their team score goals and win games, but it's just not happening for certain clubs. And Southampton have been, after the dross of last season, where they barely beat Derby's record in the Premier League. I know they did in the end, but it was looking touch and go for a while. To then come down and the start they've had, I'm not surprised. And look, he was a bit of a gamble anyway, Will Steele, coming in from France, never managed in the UK before. But look, 12 points in 13 games, 3 defeats in a row, that's just not good enough, is it, for any manager? And we talk about Leicester, their 3 defeats in a row. It's very similar, aren't there? There's some parallels between those two clubs, and we basically got the same stadium as well. So, but look, I think they'll have a bounce now, because it didn't feel like a lot of the players liked Will Steele to begin with.
What's your thoughts, Rich, on the sacking of Will Steele? Obviously, they have been dire, haven't they? They can't score, they can't defend. The manager's not good enough. The board and the owners are just making poor decisions, mismanagement. A lot of managers keep coming and going at Southampton. It's the club who's got no stability at all, and to go and sack him now, which is the right decision. Do you think they can really go and turn it around now with the potential of Russell Martin going back?
Well, it's. I think they said someone see at the weekend. I think they've had 4 wins, Jack, in 51 games, and we said on here before. You cannot. Yeah, that's since the playoffs when they got promoted, when they beat Leeds. You can't just flick a switch sometimes at clubs, and just start winning. Now, Will's still obviously done well in France, but I was listening on 5 Live when I was going to the game on Saturday, and they were talking about him, and it's like, you've got no experience, you've not played the game, What has he got really to fall back on when it gets tough? Because he played Football Manager. That was where he come from, wasn't it? Where he's got a laptop to fall back on. Yeah, but that's totally different than when you're there on the sidelines and you keep losing games. You can't keep doing it. Look, Russell Martin, it's probably a sensible decision for him to go back there, Jack, because he's obviously going to come back in somewhere. Norwich are rumoured to obviously been interested in him because he played there. But he's the only manager they've had out the last 4 who's actually done anything, So it's, I don't really know, does a manager go back to a club? Sometimes they say don't return. You've done well there once. You sort of go and tarnish your legacy if you don't turn it round. But look, they're just in a mess. It was probably a gamble in the first place appointing him, But then he was talked up, wasn't he? I think Norwich even interviewed him for their job. So it wasn't as though Southampton were the only team interested in hiring him. But I look at their team; they've got some good players, Jack, but at the minute, it's just not working on the pitch. But they just need some wins from somewhere, because if they don't, they're going to be in trouble, and they could slip. They could do a Luton. They could actually do a Luton if they're not careful and slip into League One.
Rich, Stoke 5, Bristol City 1. It was high fives around the Bet365 at the weekend. Bristol City got battered. Stoke, they're on some good form under Mark Robbins. Did you see the guy win the ball in his own half and then he ran all the way and scored the goal?
I see the second goal, Jack, when the goalie comes sliding out. and gets it all wrong and literally.
It all got from bad to worse for him.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably one of those days where you just write it off for Bristol City and say, right, just put that to one side. We've had a good start, Hopefully that's just a one-off, and then the next game you sort of start from fresh again. But Stoke are doing really well. Mark Robins, he's a good manager in this league. I know he was obviously at Coventry, Jack, and he'd done a really good job there. And I think it was probably the right time for him to move on at Cov. He's unlucky not to get him to the Premier League with that. Obviously, when they lost to Luton on penalties that time, but he knows what it takes at this level. Stoke, I don't think, Jack, since they've been relegated from the Premier League, they've finished higher than 14th in the Championship. They've always sort of done literally nothing. So this is a season. They're there at the minute, and I know it's early days, but you've got to kick on. You've had a really good start. You've got to kick on now, and I think there's a playoff place there up for grabs for them if they show some decent form. We're going to get to Christmas. If they're still up there at Christmas time when the January window comes, they'll probably spend a bit of money because Stoke, they're not hard up as a football club. And Mark Robins, he just might have the Midas touch in this league. If you're a Stoke fan, you're going to be thinking, maybe this is our season.
Just a shame you're from Stoke, really, isn't it?
Well, there you go. I was waiting for Steve to come in there.
They've got the togetherness, haven't they? Mark Robins, good manager, did well at Coventry, has gone in at Stoke, turned it around from the mess they was in, and they were sacking managers with Alex Neil and that. And then they had the Plymouth manager, didn't they, Schumacher?
Yeah.
24 points are the opening 13 games. They sit third in the Championship. They're having a fantastic start, Stoke. Middlesbrough, Steve, 3-0 defeat at Watford. And wow.
What's going on?
Sorry, I just in the background, I think my wife's watching it. I just heard, I was like, the fuck is that?
Some Middlesbrough fans say the defeat were coming in that fashion. And Watford at home, another good win for Gracia since he's gone in there. But I believe they've won is it the last two Watford have won now?
Last two.
Yeah, they've won their last.
They won last two at home.
They won their last two at home. At home. Yeah, they've won the last two at home. So he's starting to build that real togetherness at home again and picking them points up. What was your thoughts on Watford's win against Borough?
Well, we all know the Watford way is to sack a manager, get a bit of a bounce, give it 6 months and sack the manager again. So it's just a cycle repeating itself again and again and again. Look, it's a decent win. Borough are a really hard team to beat. And, to put 3 past them, pretty good. I can't say the name of Guard with a couple of goals. They look like they're starting to pick up form now. But let's be honest, Bryn, the Middlesbrough keeper, he had a bit of a shocker. He didn't play well on Saturday. So, but no, fair play to Watford. And obviously we get Middlesbrough up tomorrow night. So let's hope it continues and their keeper still plays shit and we'll get a win.
Well, let's see what happens. Right, boys, let's get into week 14 of the predictions then. We're going to start off at St Andrews. Birmingham take on Millwall. We're going to start with Steve. What you got, Steve? How do you reckon the Blues will go on? Will they get back-to-back wins? Or will Millwall spoil the party?
I think it's going to be a draw. I've gone for a 2-2 draw, Birmingham-Millwall. I think Millwall are pretty good.
Oh. Steve's crashed.
Oh, this is good.
This is good.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Look, he's actually frozen there. Look at him. He's like that, isn't he?
This is great on record.
Tonight.
Yeah, we have done well tonight. We've had streaming issues when live and then this when not. But I'll tell you what, why Steve sorts himself out. Let's talk to you, Rich.
Look, I think if you're a Birmingham fan, good win at the weekend at home.
Yeah,
you're going to look to back that up, Jack. If you've got back-to-back home games, you need to be. If you can win both of them, they're sitting 11th at the minute. That's going to take them up the table. Millwall sitting in 4th. I mean, they could have gone second, couldn't they? Saturday, if they'd have won that game, late goal. I tend to agree with Steve. I think it'd be a draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1.
Birmingham, after winning 4-0 last home game, they're going to fancy it. Millwall, they're going to feel a bit aggrieved, aren't they, after getting a draw last game, throwing it away really late on. I'm going to go 1-1 draw. I don't think they can really cancel themselves out, Rich, to be fair. I know Steve's going to be joining us shortly again, but yeah, I think a draw will be probably a fair result between the two, to be fair. I think it's two sides that really want to get the points. Birmingham probably more so in really kicking on under Chris Davis, because they can't really afford to keep losing, can they? At times, going one winning and losing again.
I think it's more probably a bit like us. They're not that great away from home, Birmingham, and I think they've done quite well at home. So they're obviously looking to back that up. You know, it was a good win. They had on Saturday against Pompey. They've struggled for goals as well, Steve. Jack as well, haven't they? They got 4 on the weekend, but they've struggled. They obviously rely on Stansfield quite a bit, but yeah, I think Millwall are decent, and Millwall would be quite happy if they probably got a point there. I think that's a tough place to go. It'd be quite a bit of a police presence there. I would have thought. Birmingham and Millwall fans, I think they've both got a bit of a reputation, so that could be a bit lively off the pitch.
Yeah, Steve said he's had a power cut, so I don't know how long that's going to do, but we're going to carry on, Rich. I'm sure Steve will join back. We're going to go Bristol City, Blackburn at Ashton Gate. Bristol City need to turn that defeat against Stoke around quickly and forget about it. Blackburn, they're going to be bouncing after the last 2 games they've had. 6 points again over the last 2 games against Southampton and Leicester. How do you think this one goes at Ashton Gate, Rick?
What were Blackburn like on Saturday? Was it just that you were bad, or were you impressed with them?
I think it was just a case that we were poor. But then also, I think they set up really well. They did a job.
Well, obviously, I see the goal that you probably should have had. That Mavididi doesn't need to touch it on the line.
Yeah,
you know, when it's going in, if it goes 1-0 to you, it's probably a different game. But yeah, I was a bit surprised. I didn't think that Blackburn would go and turn you over. Not at yours. I thought you'd probably, like I said in my predictions, I think I predicted a 2-0 win for you. So can Blackburn go and back that up and get 3 wins on the bounce? It's an interesting game, isn't it? Because obviously Blackburn have won 2 on the trot. Bristol City have just got an absolute hiding away from Stoke. But like I said, if you're Struve, their manager, you're probably going to say, look, we've had a good start. We're sitting 5th in the table. You know, it's one of them games where you could have an off day in the Championship. Is he coming back?
He just thought, well, this is fun.
Obviously, we could be waiting for a while. But yeah, I think I'm gonna back Bristol Rovers. Bristol Rovers. Sorry, Bristol City fans. I'm gonna back Bristol City at Ashton Gate. That's gonna be a one-off, and they're gonna be back on track. And I'm gonna go for a 2-1 home win with a Scott Twine free kick.
Steve has gone 2-1 Bristol City.
Oh, here we go. Look, he's got it all.
He's got it written down. We can work with it for now.
So you can copy him here, Jack, if you want.
Don't sell him that. Now, Bristol City and Blackburn have not drawn any of their last 4 games against each other. Mehmeti is the main man for Bristol City. Blackburn, back-to-back wins. I reckon this will be 2-1 Bristol City.
Oh, look, you've just copied Steve. You've just copied Steve.
No, we've definitely looked at Steve's prior. Not joking. Have you sorted your internet?
Yeah, I know what the fuck happened. It just shit itself and everything went off, and then it's back again.
So what do you reckon then? You've gone 2-1 for this one.
But which one? Where are you?
Bristol City, Blackburn.
We've all gone 2-1.
Can I have you score to the Birmingham Millwall one first, please?
1-1.
Yeah, I've gone 1-1.
Oh, that's copying Rich there. Okay, cool. I've got
How many is that he's copied already, Steve? That's 2. Oh, look, he's crashed again.
Fucking hell. Oh. Right, I've got 2-1 Bristol City, Blackburn, all right? I'm going to get them through quickly in case it fucks up again.
Were you just pretending to be a mannequin there or what?
No, just restart. Yeah.
Right, 2-1, right. Okay. Right, let's get off to the...
Wait, what did you say for
Valley.
Bristol City?
2-1. 2-1 Bristol City.
Okay, we've all gone 2-1 then. Okay, cool.
Yeah, right. The Valley. Steve, we're going to start with you for this one, mate. Charlton, West Brom. Charlton are quite good at the minute, aren't they? Where are they sitting in the league? They're sitting 8th. West Brom sit 12th. West Brom are 3 defeats in the last 5 going into this. Charlton, 2 wins in the last 5. They're doing quite well, but West Brom haven't scored in their last 2 matches. They're on a bit of a poor slump going into this. Will Charlton take advantage, do you reckon, on Tuesday night, Steve?
Yes, so I've got West Brom not scoring in this game. I've got a 1-0 win for Charlton. They've got a really good defence. Charlton, as I said, second in the league, or joint second in the league for goals conceded. Clean, anyway, whatever. I'm fried. 1-0 win for Charlton. West Brom, their bad luck continues.
I've got Charlton 2, West Brom 1. Rich, what you got, mate?
Well, they've not scored in the last 2, have they, West Brom? So they're obviously lacking in goals. And like I said, when I see them, I thought they were really, really poor. Charlton at home, drew on Saturday. They'll be looking to get a win here. But I'm going to go for 1-1. 1-1 draw.
Interesting. Right, we're going to Pride Park. Derby versus Hull. Derby County haven't lost to Hull City in their last 5 meetings. They've won 4, drawn 1. Hull haven't lost in their last 6 matches. Colton Morris will fancy himself getting this. It's 17th versus 7th. Both sides are undefeated in their last 3 games, by the way. So, how do you think this one goes, Rich, at Pride Park between these two?
It's a tricky old one to try and predict because Derby have obviously won 3 on the bounce, but then Hull are looking pretty good, pushing for the playoffs. I think I might go for another draw. I'm going to go for another 1-1.
I'll tell you what, this will probably go 1-0 either way, but I'm going to go Derby 0, Hull 1.
I've gone 1-1 in this one. I think it'll be a draw.
Lovely.
I was waiting for Jack to go, it could be a goal either side. I'm going to go 1-1, but he didn't. So well done, Jack. Well done.
That's all right, mate. Ipswich taking on Watford. Steve, how do you reckon the Tractor Boys get on against the Hornets?
Well, I mean, 2 wins in a row for Ipswich. They're slowly starting to pick up some form, and I think it continues in this game. I've gone for a 2-1 Ipswich win. Rather than the usual 2-1 Watford win that Rich goes for, I flipped it and said 2-1 Ipswich. I'm
going 2-0 Ipswich. I think Ipswich will get 3 wins on the bounce. Rich, what about you, mate? I think your boys will get on.
Well, I hope you're both right. Watford, I don't think they've won away, Jack, have they? I think they're still looking for an away win. They're more of a home team. They've got some good players. They've got some good individuals, Watford. But I think it's a game under the lights with 1-2 on the bounce. It has to be a 3rd win, like I said earlier. You can't go and win your away game on the Saturday 4-1 and then literally not perform at home. So it can't be another Charlton. Hopefully it's not a West Brom sort of game where it was pretty dour and then we nicked a late winner. So I'm going to go 3-1 Town. I was going to go 2-1, but I don't want to copy Steve. So I'm going to go 3-1 Ipswich.
Shall I give you a little stat for this one?
Yeah, go on then.
Watford haven't won away from home in the league since February the 15th. They beat Middlesbrough at the Riverside. Wow.
That is a long time.
So they're very poor, but then you talk about their home form, they just pick up wins, don't they? Steve, I'll tell you what, we're going to go with Rich for this one. I probably should have done it back to front, to be fair. Rich talked to start with Ipswich. And then Rich, Leicester, Middlesbrough. This one, I mean, I could be watching this through my fingers, to be fair. But how do you reckon the Foxes fare against
Wow.
Brom?
The natives are not happy. The
No.
natives are not happy. So you are going to... It's just one for me that I think you can win the game because I think you've got some good players. Borough, obviously, they're on a little bit of a... They've obviously drawn and lost in their last two, so they're going to want to turn around. Yeah, I can't see there being many goals, so I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Leicester haven't kept a clean sheet in 7. Middlesbrough have won their 2 previous games against Leicester. And Jesus Christ. I've got this one as a 1-1. Steve?
I've gone for a 3-1 Middlesbrough win. I think we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose, and it's going to pile the pressure on even more, and the atmosphere will be even worse than Saturday.
When I talked in the predictions yesterday, I said we will probably maybe get a draw, but then I said if we turn out the way we are, we could be in for a long night. Or a bit in between 2 results, to be fair, but I never like going against my own team. But you've got to sort of take into account of how bad things are at Leicester. To be fair, so we move to Oxford taking on Stoke. How do you think this one goes, Steve? In this one, mate?
I've gone for a 2-1 Stoke win. Look, they buoyed with the confidence of the big result at the weekend, flying high in the league again. And Oxford, as we know, Jack, it's a difficult place to go if you go down to 10 men. But I think they'll beat Oxford quite comfortably. It'll be 2-1.
Rich, what you got, mate?
Did you see the video of the goal? I can't remember where it was, the Oxford equaliser, and it said the car park goes wild. Because if everyone knows that there's no standing there behind that goal.
Absolute scenes, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So Gary Rowett, another one of his ex-clubs, I believe. He was at Stoke, wasn't he? Didn't do a lot there. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Steve. I think it'll be a 2-1 Stoke victory. I think Stoke, they've got the momentum at the minute, and if you're a fan going there, I think you can get another 3 points and you can probably climb into the top 2 possibly.
I'm going Oxford 0, Stoke 2. I'm going to go for a 2-0 that one. I think Stoke have enough to see Oxford off, to be fair. I think they've looked really strong. Sober Thomas has been fantastic, by the way, for Stoke. This one, Coventry versus Sheffield United. Will Cov pile more misery on Sheffield United, or will Sheffield United somehow turn up and get something against Cov? What's it called? The CBS these days, isn't it? I'm better known as the Rico Arena. That's what I'd know it as. But Rich, Coventry have won 4 of their last 5 games. Obviously, do you think they'll bounce back from the defeat against Wrexham?
Yeah, I think Coventry are really strong in their home, score a lot of goals. Sheffield United are shipping quite a lot of goals, Jack. I mean, was that 6 in the last 2 they've conceded? So they haven't really shored up the defence. I know they signed Tanganga. They've obviously got Ben Mee there. They signed, who used to play for Burnley. I think it's a real tough game for Wilder and his boys going there, because Coventry they'll want to put that down just as a blip. And I think I'll go 3-1 for a 3-1 Cov. It's got to be a home win, this one.
Yeah, I'm going 3-1 Coventry. I think it'll be piling more misery on Sheffield United. Cov look strong at home. They've scored 14 goals in the last 5 matches. They sit top, 3 points clear at the top from Middlesbrough. Sheffield United, I don't know where their next win's going to come from or how they're actually going to get any points at this minute in time. So, Steve, what you got, mate?
I've gone for a 2-1 Coventry win. I think they'll bounce back. And I think we're getting to the point now where we could see some more pressure on Wilder going.
Yeah.
Do you think he lasts to the end of the season? I'm not sure, I think he might be gone by Christmas.
I think he'll be all right. I think you can't go for another manager sacking, Steve. That make it 3 managers they've had before the turn of the year. But he needs wins. He needs results because obviously they didn't have a great start under Sellers, but I think they've admitted that they made a mistake there. But it's hard to turn that momentum round when you're losing every week, And it's a very unforgiving division. It's very unforgiving. Like we've said before on here, they've got some good players, Sheffield United, but it's just not clicking. And I'd see them against Preston that game the other week, and they just look like they're all right when things are going well, Jack. They've got a soft underbelly. When they concede a goal, they just they collapse.
They fall apart. They're like Leicester last season in the Prem.
It's a bit crazy that they've won 3 and lost 10. They've had no draws this season, so it's either win or loss for them. That must be like pulling your hair out as a fan. You're just like, well, we're 1-0 up. Oh, it's gone 1-1. It could go either way.
But they can't exactly trust the strikers this season, can they? Because they aren't really scoring the goals.
There's no cannon in that, Tom, is there?
No, it's not exactly going off, is it? At this point, it's not exactly getting you any goals. I think if they had the chance to play with Tom Cannon, I think they'd rather play with 10 men, Sheffield United. I think it could be a long night for them again if they concede early. I think you worry for them, to be fair, if you're a Blades fan going to the CBS on Tuesday night for the 8 o'clock. Let's move to the Wednesday night games then. We start at Deepdale. Preston versus Swansea, Steve. Preston, they're quite solid at home, aren't they? The last win they got at home was against Sheffield United 3-2, but then they went away to Southampton with a couple of major injuries and picked up a 2-0 win. They're on a roll. Not quite Swansea, though, is it? Swansea have won 1 in their last 5, Steve. How does this one go at Deepdale, mate?
Well, we all know that Preston are strong at home. We've all seen how strong they are. I've gone for a 2-0 Preston win against Swansea. Swansea don't seem to travel as well, and Preston are decent at home. So 2-0.
I'm going 2-0 as well. I think
1-0.
Comfortably win the game. 1-0.
1-0 for me, for Preston.
Interesting. Next one, QPR, Southampton. Obviously, Southampton recently sacking Will Steele. QPR, they need to respond after that thrashing against Ipswich at the weekend. What have you got for this one, Rich?
I think I just think Southampton are going to win. I just think when you sack your manager, I just think sometimes there's a little bit of pressure off because obviously they haven't appointed a manager at the minute and they'll have someone temporary in charge. And I think the players can go there and they can just have I'm not saying it's a free hit, but they can play without a little bit of pressure.
Yeah.
QPR, I didn't think a lot of them at the weekend. I mean, Steve Cook's still playing for them boys. How old is he?
Yeah.
Did you see? He was on? Someone had replied to him on Twitter about. They said I could outrun you, and he said, "All right, then I'll meet you at the training ground at so and so." And the guy shit himself, didn't he? He said, "You haven't turned up. You can turn up tomorrow if you want." I mean, he's what is he 30? Is he 38 now? Steve Cook,
34.
30? Is he only 34?
Yeah, he's younger than me, so that makes me feel really old now, Rich.
I actually thought he was. I thought he was older. I thought he was a lot older. No, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Saints win here. I think I think football sometimes works like that. You sack your manager. Obviously, Steve's actually shitting himself that Norwich are going to sack their manager before Saturday. But I think, I can see a Saints win 2-1.
I've got a draw 1-1.
I also have a draw 1-1.
I changed mine today. I had QPR winning 2-1 prior, but then I took into consideration that Will Steele's been sacked, so I thought Southampton might actually get something out of this game. So,
no, what he saw was my message in the WhatsApp group. And, 1-1.
Disgraceful, Jack. How can he say that?
That's just accusations you throw.
How can he say that about you? You'd never copy anyone, would you? How many has he copied so far, Steve?
Oh, we'll wait until the end. We'll wait until the end to find out the results.
Right, the next one: Sheffield Wednesday versus Norwich.
Is this El Crapico?
It is. It's
got to be.
That's Saturday. Leicester Norwich.
Norwich, well, they look dire. Josh Sargent hasn't scored since August. Sheffield Wednesday, they picked up a bit since Chanzeri's gone. That momentum seemed to have shifted in a more positive mind. How do you think this goes at Hillsborough, Rich?
Wow, trying to predict this game. Crikey. I mean, if you're a Norwich fan, you probably want to win, but then you want your manager to go. So you're in a bit of one of them situations where we've had it when we had McCarthy at Town, and you're thinking, well, if we lose this game, he might get the sack. But then Norwich don't seem to want to sack him at the minute.
They haven't won in 9 games, by the way.
I'm going to go for a Norwich win, 2-1.
Steve, Sheffield Wednesday haven't won in 7. Norwich haven't won in 9. I mean, this is 2 of the poorest teams in the league, you'd say. But how bad could this game get?
I mean, it's going to be a terrible game, but I've gone for a 1-1 draw. I think just enough of a stay of execution for Manning. It gets him to Saturday. Then he batters us, and then he's fine. He goes on from there, happy, you know. A 1-1 draw. I think it will be a poor game. But Sheffield Wednesday at home, you know, second game at home after getting rid of Chance Theory, they're going to sell some tickets. So it'll be a rousing occasion. Right.
I've gone for a surprise result in this one. I've gone Sheffield Wednesday 1, Norwich 0.
Oh.
That one might seem outrageous, but it won't be if it comes in. I think Sheffield Wednesday fans will love me for that one if they get.
Can you go first in the last one, Jack? Because we've got something happening. I just need to make sure that if you want to go first in the last one, and we'll tell you what happens afterwards.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Right. The next one is Pompey taking on Wrexham. This one is Pompey have had 3 defeats in the last 3 games. Wrexham, massive win against Coventry, Kiefer Moore. And I think he'll add his total of goals to this one, to be fair. I'm going 1-0 Wrexham.
Okay.
I was just looking in the WhatsApp group. I was looking to see what Steve had predicted. He's deleted his message.
Deleted it. Yeah. No cheating in this one. No cheating on this one.
Shouldn't send them in the first place.
What did you go for, Jack?
1-0 Wrexham.
Ooh.
In fact, I sent it in case I couldn't come back, so you at least had mine there ready, you know.
Okay.
What have you got, Rich?
I think Wrexham will. Do they continue on? Pompey need a win, don't they? I mean, 3 defeats on the bounce is not great. I thought they were going to do all right this season, but they're not having a great run at the moment. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Wrexham win.
Oh,
4 on the bounce for Pompey.
Steve?
I've got a 1-1 draw. I think they'll cancel each other out. Wrexham, keep more a score, but it'll just be a boring 1-1 game.
Lovely. And that is it of the Championship predictions, week 14.
Just before you stop, Jack. So me and Rich had a little competition before you came back earlier on, and we were guessing how many you would guess of mine and Rich's at the same time, sort of thing.
Right.
Now Rich said 4, and I said 3. Now it turns out, Rich, we were both correct. He did guess 4 of yours at the same time and 3 of mine, so we both win. You copycat.
Unbelievable, honestly. The accusers, these pair. Match previews on the channel as well for if you're a Leicester fan or a Borough fan and want to go and watch what we say about the Leicester Middlesbrough game. Go and check it out. We discussed it with Johnny from Borough Breakdown yesterday, so yeah, go and check that out. I'd say it's a must watch, but I'd say close your ears. Because me and Dan had a bit of a rant about Leicester's game at Blackburn as we look back on it, but we move. Rich, what's coming up on the Suffolk Crunch, mate, for anyone who's interested?
If you haven't watched, we've got the Sunday sit down that I do after every game, looking back on the game on Saturday at QPR, and then I'm going to do my match preview tomorrow morning. I'm off work, so 10 a.m. live. If anyone's about and wants to come and join in, all the fun. You don't have to be a Town fan, you just be a football fan, because we have a little bit of a chat on there about all sort of things. So, 10 a.m. and then I'll do my review on Wednesday morning, hopefully with another 3 points in the bag.
Lovely. One question I want to ask you both, actually. So last week we got 52 likes on the video. What is the like target this week?
Well, I think you're going to get less because we're not live, and you've only got you've got to sort of watch it sort of before the games. I'd say like tomorrow night. Well, you can watch it anytime. We'll go for 54. Let's be bold.
Yeah,
54. Steve?
Yeah, 54. I'm happy with that. It's two more than last week, so 54.
There we go. Mick, it can't go on like this for Leicester this week, can it?
It can't go on like this, can it?
It can.
Well, the man's spoken. I bloody hope he's wrong. But we asked him anyway. So that's Mick McCarthy's views on Leicester. But boys, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it as always. Get your predictions in, everyone, if you watch when you watch this back. Thanks for watching. Take care. Good night. And we'll catch you again Thursday for week 15 of Championship predictions. See you soon.